Hey friends, welcome back. Today I am going to work on week 27 in my 2022 Project Life album. First up, I'm just going to apologize for my voice. I'm at the tail end of a cold. I can hardly breathe, so I sound a little bit nasally. I apologize in advance. This video is going to be a little bit quicker than usual because even though I've sped it up a little bit for you guys, this whole spread didn't take me more than 20 minutes, which is my kind of idea of documenting, to be honest. Super quick and simple, especially since I'm a few weeks behind and I'm trying to catch up as quickly as I can. So I was pretty excited to work on this week. I grabbed myself a couple of documenter kits from Studio Calico and they arrived. So today I am working with the June kit, which is filled with bright and colourful, summery, admittedly, kind of themed cards and embellishments. And though what I was sort of hoping for was this bright and colourful week, my photos actually had quite a lot of colour in them this week in comparison to the last few weeks of winter photos. And so what I tended to do is when I'm laying out these cards is I end up kind of toning back the color in the cards and using a few more of the kind of neutral ones in there. I'm also going to try something a little bit different today, and I have got a sentiment card for my title card, so I'm going to try and use that instead of diving into my stash and finding a pattern paper to match. So I'm going to keep things really simple. Like I said, the whole thing took me 20 minutes. I've laid out my cards. I've got a card there. I'm going to do some list journaling because that's my favorite kind of journaling, especially when I'm going back this far in weeks. I'm also going to add a little bit of a detail down the bottom here on this details card. It was kind of like a monthly wrap-up card, but I don't do Project Life monthly, so I'm going to adjust that a little bit to tell its own story. I've covered up the smaller sentiment underneath the title on that card with my photo, and I'm going to use one of the chipboard stickers to cover up the little portion of the card that says June. But first I'm going to do my journaling. I did that straight through my typewriter, so these cards are a little bit thicker. My typewriter does struggle a little bit, but I kind of just jammed them through. You can see there I've done both of the actual kind of journaling cards. I did type using my pink ink just to add a little bit more color. Just those cards are kind of quite neutral, and so I wanted to add a little bit of color, and I love doing that with the pink ink. I've just got a vintage typewriter. It belonged to my grandmother, but I did put into it one of the We Are Memory Keepers typecast inks that's got black and pink. My two favorites. I must say that the pink is getting a little bit light on the ink, so I might have to try and replace that sooner rather than later. The rest of the spread I'm going to keep pretty simple, just with kind of some minimal embellishments. You can see on my 4x6 photo down the bottom there, I did change it to a black and white photo because it was during a really bad kind of stormy week, a photo in the car of me and Lil, and it was very dark, so I changed it to black and white. But I kind of love that because it makes that chipboard embellishment really like ping with the kind of teal and green. There is a lot of green on this page, and so I'm going to kind of embrace it with some of those embellishments and cards. This one, however, of me and my lovely friend Alice finally meeting in person. I'm going to add one of the kind of peachy colored labels, and I just stamped from the stamp set straight onto that label. Now, like I said, everything's kind of a little bit summery themed, which definitely is not the week I had around here. So I'm going to use as much as I can that's a little bit kind of more generic rather than those summer themed. There was definitely no trips to the beach or, sunshiny days, that sort of thing. A lot of rain, a lot of cold weather, but I'm going to use sort of some loose interpretations. So this one is just of a desk scene. I spent the month of July kind of playing around a little bit. I guess you'd maybe call it like an art journal. I don't know. It's not really an art journal. It was just a life crafted album that I put together and just had fun playing a lot of the time with my patrons. And I happened to take this desk shot, so I used the Amazing View stamp and a couple of little other ones. Super fun. Happy to be here. And added that. I'm sure that's totally not how that stamp was intended to be used, but it works perfectly in this case. I have just been prepping those stamps with my sand eraser before I go ahead and stamp them, and it definitely is worth the time that it takes to do that. You do get a much better stamp impression. Now this card here, the rest and relaxation, had nothing to do with my spread really, so I'm going to cover all of that up, but I really loved that paler green color. I used one of the tags, or the little tags from the, I guess it's a die cut pack, just to add a little bit of color onto there and again cover up a bit more of that sentiment, but it really was a very simple way to do that, and just to add my little charm photo on there. I'm going to do basically the exact same thing with this iced coffee photo. I'm covering up half the card with my photo. This one didn't have a sentiment on it, but it's that same kind of lighter green color, and I just added one of the chipboards to it. So I'm pretty much done. I'm just going to add some, I'm going to end up adding some stamping onto this sentiment card. I loved the colors in here, and I loved that it had that kind of neutral background. I really did want to use it. 4x6 cards I tend to cover up a lot with photos, or I'm using them as like a title card, so I wouldn't necessarily usually use a card like this, and I really wanted to utilize it, so I'm just going to leave it as is and basically just stamp my week underneath it. I'm going to use another one of those tags there just to add my date stamping onto. I didn't really want to add a label. I'm using a couple of Citrus Twist stamp sets. I love that one. It was a collab between Citrus Twist and Retro Hip with all of those weeks on there, and it works out perfectly for this. I am going to stamp both the week and the week number just in black ink as a kind of contrast to the sentiment that's on the card, and that way it kind of stands out a little bit more. I'm going to add the tag with my date stamping at the top, and again it kind of just looks like, I don't know, less kind of designed and more kind of like stuck on. It's kind of a looser style, but I really like how it turned out. It's just the right kind of balance between neutral and colorful. It lets me see that sentiment, but also my week number is on there as well, and that's one of the things I love about Project Life, is watching those weeks tick by. I'm just adding my date stamping, and then I'm going to call this spread done. Like I said, it was a very quick one to put together, and I kind of love how it turned out. So this was a happy mail day for a happy week. Hey, thanks for watching today, guys. I really hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. If you want to keep watching, I'm going to leave a couple videos on screen. Otherwise, I'll see you again really soon. Bye.